men, and I use the term loosely. I forget where I left off yesterday. I think I showed you the cracks I saw. Here's a crack I didn't see initially. Anyway, saw the cracks, gouged them out, brought them out to the dirty shop, sandblasted, bead blasted the cases, and when I brought them back in after that, and I've said this before, that white dusty powder from the bead blast lands on cracks and it draws the oil out, and right there, that black semicircular line, that's another crack. So, yeah, I'm going to gouge that out. I'm going to take both of these case halves outside and soap and water, aluminum brightener, give them the final cleanup. Then I'm going to come in and weld this. I got these cases, this engine, well, this whole bike from a guy named Bill, and he got it from some guy somewhere. And I'm just betting the some guy somewhere didn't tell him the crankcase was cracked. I got a TIG welder. This is going to be several hours of screwing around with it, cleaning it up, gouging it out, welding it. Not fun, not something I want to do, but, really, in the world of broken crankcases, this is not really that bad, so not really a big deal. But, for a guy who just wanted to get on a bike and ride it, well, this is a deal breaker. The whole motor's got to come out of there, and anyway, not a good thing. And let me show you one other thing while I'm talking about oil and dirt and bead blast powder media. Okay, and you've heard people talk about difficult to weld cast aluminum because it's porous. That same white dust, of course, is all over the whole engine. And all these little black spots are pores that have absorbed oil, and the powdery residue from the bead blaster draws the oil out, and that's where all these little black spots come from. Right out of the bead blaster, you don't really see this, but when it sits overnight and it has time to dwell, the oil comes up out of there, and the whole case is permeated with this type of spotting to varying degrees. So yeah, when people say Harley cases are porous and they're full of oil and are hard to weld, here's why. You could see it. You could actually see it. Anyway, going to gouge this out some more and do some more cleaning on it, and then get it ready to weld. All right, it's about 1:20 or thereabouts. I've been working on this thing since about 9 a.m., so it's, pretty near 4.5 hours. I bead blasted it last night and uncovered this crack, ground the crack out. Well, this morning I ground it some more, and I showed you that other crack that appeared on the inside after the powder from the bead blasting residue pulled the oil out of the crack. That crack on the inside pretty much goes from around this area here, almost perfectly round it looks like, to about where this hole is, and it continues around to about where this little hole is. So I ground all that out, and the rest of the time I spent cleaning. They're pretty clean when they come out of the bead blaster, but you got to get all the glass beads out of there. You got to get all the residue out. There's nooks and crannies the bead blaster can't get into. So I soaked this thing, these cases, in a tub of water mixed with simple green and aluminum brightener, and then basically scrub all of the surfaces with a stainless steel toothbrush. And that's what I use to clean them with. So, are there better ways to do it? Yeah, probably. I'm not going to say perfectly clean, but it's pretty damn clean. So I'm going to throw this in the oven and bake it at 350 for at least an hour, maybe more. This crack is very close to the parting edge right here, and I'm worried there's going to be expansion that is going to affect the seam. So I got her bolted together. We're going to bake it, get it all heated up evenly, and weld this up and take it from there. So yeah, I'm going to go do that, and we'll be back later. Bye. All right, here's the finished weld. Very happy with that. The welding went very nicely. I managed not to dunk the electrode in the puddle at all during this. I didn't have to sharpen the electrode at all during the process, and this is for both the inside and the outside. Not unexpectedly, as this was getting hot, another crack opened up in this direction and another crack opened up in this direction. So I had to gouge some more out. But yeah, it went very nicely. For those of you who are interested in this stuff, this was done on a Miller Dynasty 210, 160 amps, 90 hertz, 75% balance. I run a 1/8 inch lasered electrode, and this was with 4043 16th inch rod. I've used heavier rods, but the 1/16 melts so much faster and flows more readily than the heavier rods do. So I like using a 1/16, even though, you know, I was filling a lot of gouges in here. I could have used the fatter rod and it would have worked too, but the 1/16 rod worked pretty good. And as usual, the rear engine mount was cracked in the usual spot. Yeah, I've been wrenching on these things. I'm 70. I've been wrenching on these things since I was 18 years old. And in my lifetime, I think I've seen two stock rear engine mounts that weren't cracked. You know, Harley, they may as well just crack them going down the assembly line because they're going to be cracked sooner or later. But, you know, usual procedure, gouge it out on both sides and fill it in. It'll crack again, I'm sure it will. If it cracked when it was brand new, it'll crack again after it was welded. Maybe not while I'm still alive, but hey, eventually. All right, here's the weld on the inside. Yeah, flowed very nicely. Didn't dip the electrode in the weldment. Very happy with that. Yeah, this is basically done. I have a stripped out drain hole on the other case that I got to fix. Okay, and one little machining operation I'm going to do on this case, where the countershaft low gear thrust face sits on this boss. There's a pretty good burr raised up over here. And I'm just guessing, you know, I found that piece of broken tooth in there. Found the, you know, the gouge and the, you know, punched out part on the bottom over here. I'm just guessing the shifter fork was too short and not engaging the low gear all the way. And it was, you know, popped out and driven into the side of the case. And, you know, things went to hell from there. But I need to get the mill in here and flatten this burr off over here. It should be no big deal. You know, as always on the milling side of things, it's going to take, you know, a half hour, 20 minutes to fixture this up in the mill, in the bed of the mill, and, you know, 3 minutes to do the actual milling. But it needs to be done, so of course I'm going to do it. But yeah, and with that, I think I'm going to call it done for today. Yeah, you know, there's no reason to kill myself on these things. So yeah, we're going to take a little break, and I am out of here. And yeah, I know I didn't show you any of the welding. It's just so hard to, you know, video welding and weld at the same time. I could either video or I could weld, but I can't do both. At least not do both well. So anyway, rather have the weld come out good than the video come out good. So anyway, I am out of here. We'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye. Men, if you like this channel and this content, the single most important thing you could do to help grow this channel is to hit the subscribe button. I also have new design coffee cups and stickers available. You know, I like the old coffee cups, but I like these new ones even more. Links are included in the description down below. And for those of you who really want to go the extra mile, you could join me on Patreon. Link is also included in the description down below. And to all of you who have watched these videos, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.